Hi everyone, this is your self-awareness activity for the week of August 25th, or whenever you come across this and you feel inclined to do it. So the contemplation card that you're being asked to listen to and contemplate is the concept of surrender or giving up. Surrender is an active state in which we remain engaged in the awareness of the situation. It's a softening into the reality as it is, not resisting what it is. It's allowing that it might change without being attached to the possibility that it will. Giving up is the equivalent of saying, I'm done, it's over. It takes you out of the flow of circumstances. Giving up is not neutral. There are usually some pretty strong emotions behind it and often contains a whole lot of resistance. So if you think about the difference in what that might feel like, imagine that you are opening the door onto a moving scene and you're watching something play out in front of you. There's an interaction going on. You're not jumping out to try to affect it. You're just watching it. You're observing. And at the same time, if you're not finding it particularly pleasant, even though you're not finding it particularly pleasant, you're standing back and you're observing and you're letting it be what it is to see where it's going to go. So that would be the surrender feeling. The giving up feeling would be like slamming the door on that so that you're not seeing it anymore and you're kind of in denial that it's there. You're cutting off any kind of interaction or observation of it. Okay? Now, the energy that you're being asked to deliberately embrace and embody is quantum leap of faith. This means beyond logical expectation, beyond the linear projections of our minds, there is a place of free fall. Here you trust that what feels like leaping into the unknown void is really sailing on the winds of the infinite, unlimited benevolence, which will guide you wisely to your best and most graceful landing. Okay. So that's interesting. I could see how I would put those two together. And now the awareness activity that you're being asked to actually do, the action you're being asked to take. Why is that? Yeah, I think that's good. The awareness activity that you're asked to actually engage in within the world around you is angels everywhere. Today, imagine that everyone you meet is an angel sent to you by some benevolent force for your own best good. Remember, everyone is an angel no matter what they look like, act like, say, do, or don't do. How does this affect how you behave towards them? How does it shift with the dynamic? How does it shift the dynamic and what do you notice about your prejudices and prejudgments? So this is really interesting because you could apply it in a lot of different ways. And the reality is you don't even have to go out of the house in order to be able to perceive angels everywhere. And the real challenging thing would be to look at the news and then check out all of our many different politicians throughout the world and say, even that person is an angel. Now, how does that make me think about them? But let's go back to the thought card, the contemplation card, the surrender or giving up. So typically I would look at that and I would say, okay, what jumps out at me as I read that card? Do I have a feeling, a resonance with what it feels like to surrender versus giving up? And if I do, can I reflect back on situations when I have just given up and slammed the door on something, or as compared to times when I've been able to just observe and let a situation unfold, okay? And stay in connection with it just by virtue of observing it. So can I look at that? And also, can I stay aware of where it might be happening around me in this week coming up? Now, the energy you're being asked to, and I just want to, okay, the energy you're being asked to, the quantum leap of faith, it really is about trust. It's really about trusting that no matter how crazy things look, no matter what our minds are trying to do, we can trust that there is something benevolent that is guiding us or that is guiding whatever situation there is. And it's easier to do when you can say, oh, well, okay, so what if everything that's happening is perfect? Then I can trust, or I can act as though everyone's an angel, and look at how my attitude towards that person shifts my perception, shifts the situation. Again, the surrender, giving up. Now, the other thing that I find really fascinating about this is, again, because we are in such a conflicted energy right now worldwide, I went back and I listened to the channeling that I did earlier this evening, because I don't always remember what I'm saying when I'm saying it when it's a channeling like that. And what it really struck me is these cards actually kind of go along with what that was talking about. It was really about trying to lean into the idea that everybody here on this plane is connected to the divine in some way, and that the more we can remember we are connected, the easier it is for us not to give up, not to be broken, not to be shattered by the chaos and the fracturing that is happening in many levels right now. The more we can surrender into it with an aspect of faith, and trying to look at everything and everybody, even the ones that are causing us the most distress, as angels, as divine beings. If not angels, then at least as divine beings. Is it easier for us not to slam the door and go into avoidance and rejection and create resistance in general in us, but create resistance, which is never, resistance, flow. Well, flow is really generally where you want to be. And surrender allows for flow, whereas giving up kind of doesn't. Not in the way I've described it. So it's a really interesting week. And as I think I said, you don't necessarily even have to leave the house in order to apply that angels everywhere concept. I really like the quantum leap of faith, because that for me is really allowing me to say, okay, I can surrender into trusting that the world is a divine place, because angels are everywhere. And there is a divine guiding force that is going to take me forward and take the world forward. So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out for you on a personal level, if it involves your life directly, or if it involves just your experience of what's going on at large in the world. Whether you use this as an awareness activity to explore aspects of yourself, or whether or not you just simply decide to use this because this is a really, really helpful approach to get through a week or a period of time when there's a lot of chaos and disruption. Either way, it's a really, really interesting combination of 3 cards, and I encourage you to play with it. Take care.